wait, let me jump in real quick and let me go back. So what year did this happen with you?
2014.
And you were active on Twitter then talking about it, right?
And the month after he tweeted about, it was December, he tweeted for the New Year's like, oh, what y'all want to see for the New Year, come for me for New Year. And I was like, I want you to stop hurting people.
And that was back in 2014.
Yes, I tweeted that 2014. After that, everywhere I went and he was there, he would try to apologize or like come close to me. And I would be like, back up. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Back up. Like, why are you trying to communicate with me? When I noticed when I was out and he did it to my friend and we both were like, and I'm like, I'm noticing her acting weird. And she told me it happened to her. So I'm like, what the f? Like, this is a thing. So in 2018, when I found out he was arrested for it, I already told people around me. That's how I even knew when the article came out, because I already told the people around me, yo, if you see this dude rape me, don't mess with people in the music business, a lot of people that I know. So when it came out, I spoke against it. I spoke about it or whatever, and then went to detectives. Of course, you gotta go through that whole system. And he got out on bail for $1 million.
But before we get too deep in that, so let's go back. So in 2014, when you put the allegations out, nobody heard you. Nobody responded. Nobody.
It wasn't like no one responded. Like I said, I felt embarrassed. So only like my.
I mean, you tweeted in a public platform, but nobody came to your defense or nobody rescued you to hold them accountable, right?
I don't think I put into details that I was like, hey, I'm raped by this person, so no one's, me just being like, I don't want you to hurt anyone anymore.
You don't think people would put two and two together? Did either one of you file charges at the time with the police that this had happened to you?
Like the day of?
Yeah, like the day of or the next day, and if not, why?
I think that, well, for me personally, and you gotta think about it, I'm 5'8", right? So to say I was raped by somebody the same size as me, probably a little bit smaller than me because I'm thick, like that like she said, it's embarrassing. To say that I was raped by someone as like random and just him is embarrassing. So all of these girls like having to come out and say they were raped by this man, and not only were they raped, but they were raped by coercion. So therefore you have to sit back and like explain where your own anxiety and your own like personal issues come into the situation. It's just like,
and then just like the kind of the questions you ask, if someone's in that vulnerable and someone's like constantly like, okay, well, why didn't you leave? Well, why did you stay? Like, it feels like someone is starting to blame you for letting the actions happen to you, where it's just like,
you can't control your body.
Yeah, once you're in a shock, your body goes into a shock.
It's trauma response. It's a clinical thing.
Well, when I asked him about, how in the world do 15 girls all come up with the same story? This is what he had to say.
Long story short, I was set up. A person, I can't say this person's name, but long story short, after the movie came out, somebody was not faithful to their spouse. They weren't faithful. But instead of telling their spouse, hey, I cheated, they didn't want to do that. So instead, they made up these false allegations about me and said I did something to them that I didn't do. Then the spouse said, okay, if this really happened, then tell your mom. The person's mom is a cop. This specific person told the mom put me in jail, blasted me to the news, and paid other people to make false allegations and police reports on me to keep me in jail longer.
My response to that is I would love to see the money. Like, if that's the case, show me the money.
He's
like
barely paying for therapy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's here. Another big thing for me too is like, I'm a witness in this case, so I'm no longer a victim on this case. That means when things are awarded to people at the end of the case, or if they win, it's not awarded to the witness.
So let's clarify that. So you currently are on the case where there are charges leveled against him with these other women. You are not.
I'm on this case as a witness, so
but you're not on as a victim.
Not anymore.
But you are a victim.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll have to say allegedly for the cameras, but a victim. Okay.
I am a victim, and I want to also, because this was asked about me, there are paperwork and things that say that I have insufficient evidence and information, and that's not true. I have lots of evidence and lots of information, but what
evidence do you have?
For example, just the fact that he's had to delete the DMs, the fact that I told the police like where he lived and his address, his old phone number, like the fact that there are 20 plus girls with the same story, you know, like that should be evidence enough. Like,
But see, with them, I mean, they're probably looking for a rape kit or a video or a text message acknowledging something or something like that.
but you have to think, like, I didn't even realize I was raped until about a week after. I didn't realize what had happened to me until a week after. I saw him the day after. I went to a bowling alley and he comes running up behind me and gives me a hug like things are normal. He will text his victims and try and convince them that it was consensual and
But
that
you had DM'd him the next day, though, right?
I
Or
had.
then you had messaged him.
We had text message correspondence. He kept messaging me, trying to make it seem like it was like.
And he'll do that. He did that with me. And then when I was responding, like, then he tried to, like, come and see me because I went into a panic, like, I'm going to. And then he rushed to my house because he wanted to, like, keep me calm and, like, not have me, I guess, go off and tell people, like, what was going on.
But one thing that's clear, too, is he is a narcissist. So in his mind.
He's a sociopath.
But in his, well, I will say, before I did the interview, I definitely thought of him as a narcissist because I remember him bragging about how big his penis was and his relationship with Halle Berry. What he had said to me that I didn't say in the last interview was that he had come to me, he knew I owned Hollywood Unlocked. What he had said was, I have a video of Halle Berry giving me head. If I give it to you, can you put it out? And I said to him, you will literally destroy, your career will be destroyed. Like, they will come for you. Like, it's Halle Berry. And I want to get into that relationship later. But at the time, I remember him being a narcissist. And then having watched the interview play back, I see the sociopath behavior for me. And in my opinion, you know, I don't know that he's diagnosed as a sociopath, but in my opinion, there was no emotion, there was no acknowledgement of any participation, anything. There was just, it was all like everybody's against him. He's done nothing wrong. And then what I was really disappointed in was in giving him the platform to just share his part or his position on everything. He then went and used the interview to weaponize it against all of you by posting and promoting on his social media like he had us in his pocket, which was not the case. So I want to be very clear. Why I allowed him to use the platform was we had just interviewed Raz B, and we've had people who have been victims, and we've had people who've been accused of things that they haven't done, allegedly. And I just wanted to provide a space to kind of fill them out, but it wasn't until the end of that interview that I go, there's more here than he's acknowledging.
And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity because I don't think a lot of these news sources, they take it as a joke, but they don't realize that what he's doing is taunting his victims.
Or they want to interview us and then, like, twist it in a way to, like, promote him still. And it's just like, you can't twist none of this, boo. I left everything that I've ever said about him up because I'm standing on what the hell I gotta say.
Yeah.
I stand up and say what I gotta say because I have people in my inbox daily, friends who won't go to detectives because they feel embarrassed. They feel like they don't got enough proof. They don't feel like anyone's gonna care. Or now it's so many people on the case. Like at first, the second time, so many people was calling the detectives. Like they had to drop people because so many people was calling in. The first time in October 2018 when he got arrested, so many people called that like you couldn't even call in to get into like talk
it was
to
like
them.
if you're
They had
calling
to
for
schedule
Kaalan
you.
Walker, like please leave a message with this detective if you're calling about this case. So many
Like,
girls were calling it.
It was a whole thing. So that's why the second time he got arrested, they got him for a bigger warrant because they had so many people from that came up after October 2018. I guess after the supposed cop girl. One with the mother.
So, are you aware of who this cop is, or do you know anything about that? You've not been contacted by her?
I first heard about that he got arrested because of the viral photo of him having a girl thrown over his shoulder was actually drugged in that photo. And that girl was raped, and that was who came, like she told someone and then they
started investigating.
You know, helped her go to the cops and like it came out. And that was from the October 2018 thing. And then this thing has been from all of us coming forward after that.
They, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the police department themselves like put out like stuff in the
it
news.
was LAPD had posted. That's
We're
how
searching
the
for
article about him, and that's when all of us started coming forward. I went to the LAPD site and put in my thing, and that's when I got contacted. And yeah, it's been a long 3 years. Like, it's aggy to feel like he's out on bail and I could go anywhere now and he might be there.
Well, and you've been very vocal about the DA, the Los Angeles District Attorney, for releasing him on bail without notifying the victims or without even acknowledging
How about
you
the
all.
fact? Yes. The fact that I found out that this man was out of jail over Twitter, that broke my heart, because this man is so dangerous, and there's obviously like a cover up and something going on in this case, and it just breaks my heart that this is women of color, a group of women of color, and the fact that all of these women are being dismissed. If we were a bunch of like white girls coming forward, 20 plus white girls coming forward saying that he raped us, this case would have been over with the year it started. We're 3 years in, like, and that's another thing too. We're 3 years in. What do we have to get out of this, being on this ride for, you are more than 3 years, but for 3+ years? Like, what do we get out of it other than hate mail and like disrespectful bullshit?
People coming at us like, oh,
Saying you deserve to be raped and all sorts of crazy
whatever.
shit.
Yeah, no, like I
So,
didn't.
but were you guys engaged with the district attorney? Like, was there?
The district attorney, you asked me about that. So the new district attorney, DA Gascon, has made changes which include not telling the victims in like the formal way of telling victims that someone's let out of jail. So there was a system failure, as the detective put it, that we didn't find out. Also, I think another one of his changes are they cannot dictate what his work is, which is why he's able, again, to work with minors and children and women again, which is how he raped them in the first place, which is photography, and he's doing that again. So that,
Which is not an uncommon thing for photographers to do. So it's just like there's plenty of photographers who've done that with women. So it's just like, why would someone just make that type of thing up? Like,
yeah.